Welcome back to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. I'm Jun42. If you like my videos, hit that thumbs up button so other people can find them. The YouTube algorithms use that to help people find videos on particular subjects. If you really like what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit the notifications button, and you'll be notified anytime I upload another video on one of these board games. This is the continuation of the C.U.C.U campaign, which stands for Cripple the UK, Collapse the USSR. The Germans have executed this very well. They've had a little bit of luck, but for the most part, it's an overwhelming thing. There's got to be a counter to it, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. So I'm still playing these out to try and figure out how do you give the Allies a chance against this particular strategy line. And we are getting ready to go into, where are we going? Into May of 1942. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm probably going to need this because I don't think there's any declarations of war. Excuse me a moment. Oh, we had rolled weather at the end of the last turn. Oops, I keep pulling up the combat results table instead of the weather table. It's poor in the cold zone, fair in the mild zone, and poor in the warm zone, which is like the med. Okay. And then I have a little marker that shows me where I'm sitting at 10 will. I'm not very good defending the Russians, I guess. Oh, this is me, this was me mucking about with the counters here. There we go. He's coming online now. Basically, I was moving the various markers as to who's what ally. The reason why I do this is it makes it easy for me to tell near the end of the game when I'm trying to figure out where I can place partisans, especially for the Soviets in the West, where I can. The Soviets don't have any allies, so they're going to be stuck with just their own territory. But the West, it can be important to know, oh, look, I can drop one in, Belgium, but the Netherlands hasn't been declared war on, so we can't put one there. So, we're in the economies. Here we are. So he's still at 28. Yugoslavs have 2. Finns, Italians, British are up to 12 now. 3 Lend-Lease and 3 factories, and their factory loss marker is equal to their factory count. The Russians are at 18. They've got 2 factories. After 3 minus 1 is 2. And then they've got 6 Urals and a Lend-Lease. So 9 factories is 18. Not bad for only having 10 will and most of Russia conquered. I think we're done with that for now. Are we doing strategic warfare? Yes. So the Russians are at +3, and their Axis is at +3, and neither one of us had anything to play. Yeah, the West has something to play, but the other guys don't. So it's an 8 to a 9, so nothing happened. We set this here, now it's +6 to +2 because I have the Americans. And I go ahead and I throw my partisans because I didn't see a use for the partisans right away. So I'm going to have his +6. He rolled a 3 + 6 is a 9, which is halved to a 5. And I rolled a 2 + 2 is a 4. So what that did is, whoops, wrong one. I'm not so much interested right at the moment of hurting him. I'm not going to be able to do that till I get bombers and stuff anyway, because of all the ports he holds. I've got work to do to try and get my points, get my strategic warfare rolling. But what it does do is it should. Oh, I didn't. I just keep it back. Should bring the American. Why is it not? brings the UK factory loss marker down. And then the partisans come back in 3 turns. So I'll be back for fair weather to help me maybe invade someplace, depending on where I'm trying to get to. So now we're into strategic movement, and he goes, no, we're not going to give you that chance. He saw the possibility of me, running over and like trying to blow up the Romanian or something, and then running out of there. And up to diagnostic, he's like, no, I'm not going to give you that. The Soviets, I think I brought somebody that was this guy that was hanging out here. Once he did that, there's no chance of me getting anything over here. And this guy here was just a dead unit. And rather than give him 3 will points, the unit and the city, I figured I'd give him the 2 and try to hang on to these cities in the south better. That's the only thing I can think of to do. He's taken Vologda, so I'm just kind of like hanging out on the river lines and stuff, trying to slow him down on his way to Archangel. I pretty much have him bottled up trying to go to Murmansk. And, he's already taken Leningrad, so I really don't have a lot going for me. And there was no way I could maintain a decent line around Moscow without just losing a bunch of units, so I just kind of wrote that off. So it's going to be fairly easy for him to get his 10 points. I don't see him not getting them with a minimum of 3 fair weather turns in 1942. Like I said, I just don't seem to be able to defend in Russia very well. Operations phase for the Axis. Again, we are in... why do I keep doing that? Poor weather over here, so... so he seals up the eastern entries from Saratov. And then he moves down here, does an assault. Has a Romanian that was up by Rostov run down and grab that city so that we don't forget. So I'm down to 8 will. There's a German down here. Basically, he's just setting up for assaults. Moves a German aircraft down to be able to support him. I think he's doing aircraft combat here. Yeah, I'm -2, he's -1. He rolls a 4, I roll a 4. So we each take 1. He rolls a 3. Oh, he gets me again. What is this? Oh, he rolled a 3 -1 is a 2. I rolled a 6 -2 is a 4. So he took 2 and I took 1. It's just like, okay, I'm going to bring down a different airplane. And be at -1, and he rolled a 1. I rolled a 3 -4 is 1, so we each took 1. And then I think he went again at -2 to -4. Did he go? Oh, I think he went over. I'm not sure what he's doing now. I didn't knock up a sortie on my Russian. Oh, I think he might be doing this attack here, because this guy can't get away. I think that might be what we're doing next. Because he is 3 for armor, -2 for weather in the swamp, so that's +1 for an airplane. We'll put him at +2 to 0. I don't know what we're doing. So +2 to 0. He rolled a 6 and I rolled a 3. Figures. I think we're doing this combat down here. I threw in my airplane. So he's +1 to +2. I rolled a 6. He rolled a 6. I rolled a 7. And then he has this armor come down and attack across the river, I think. If he does, he should be at 0. Yeah, he's at 0 and I'm at -2. He threw in his airplane. He got a 6 + 1 is a 7. And of course, I can't. At a 7, I'm going to die anyway. So he took that guy, which is another will point down to 7. So then he attacks with the German and the Italian at Moscow. So he's 2 for the German, 2 for isolation, that's 4. +1 for the Italian is 5. And then -2. So he starts off at +3 to 0. We go to combat commitment. It's like, this is obvious. I'm through in my tanks. He throws in his airplane. So he goes up to +4 to +1. Then he threw in his tanks to be +5. He rolled a 5 + 5 is 10. And it's halved down to 5. And then he attacked with the German and the Yugoslav. So it's the same thing. It's 4, 5, -2. So he starts off at +3, throws in a German aircraft to go up to +5. And I throw in a tanks to be at +1. So it's +5 to +1 again, and he's halved. And then he threw in a ground support to become +6. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, -2. +5 rather. +5 to +1. And again, he rolled a 5 + 5 is a 10. I mean, not bad die rolls, half down to a 5. Then I rolled a 2 + 1 is a 3. So I am flipped inside of Moscow. This is bad. So then he comes after me with a single German infantry who's attacking at +2 to -2. Why is he? And he throws in an airplane again, so he's +3. So he's 2 for German, 2 for isolation is 4. -2 for the city and the weather makes him +2, and he throws an airplane, so he's +3 and halved, and I'm -1. He rolls a 5 + 3 is a 2 + 3 is a 5, halves down to a 3. I rolled a 4 -1 is a 3. So I stayed alive on that one. But then he attacks me again, and he's going to use his airplane again. He's going to be the same thing, but he's going to be +3 to -2. He rolls a 7, halves down to a 4. I roll 4, -2 is a 2. I can't retreat. Moscow falls. And 5 more will points gone. So he went ahead and said, let's try and get this infantry guy there. The Italian is 0 + 1 for a tank is 2 + 1, or makes him +1 here. And he throws in an airplane to be +2, -2. So he should be 0 to 0. And he thought about it and said, maybe I don't want to do that. He goes, instead, I'm going to put the tank up there because he can, because that lake lets him move through. So he goes 1, 2 and attacks with the tank. Or does he attack with the infantry? He was trying to figure out what he wanted to do here. And I think he went with the tank and the German infantry instead of the Italian. So he's +2. The armor is another +2. So puts him up to +4. -2. He should be -2. And then he throws an airplane. So he's +3 to my 0. He rolled a 6. I rolled a 3. So I'm flipped. And then he's just straightening out his lines here, trying to make sure I can't just run around and do shenanigans on him. Brings this German down because he's going to try to take Sebastopol. But I'm down to 2 will points. So any city or any two armies does me in. So that's why he's kind of doing what he's doing. So he's attacking me, I believe, here. Where's he attacking me here? I'm not sure where this attack is at. Five plus 1, so it has to be the armor against the... Yeah, I think it was against this thing here. And he was just trying to get me to use up my airplane because he wasn't going to actually... He wasn't expecting to win it, and he has enough points to flip anything that happens bad to him. So now we're just counting 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16... He had spent 16 out of 28, which left him with 12, and I think that's where he wanted. And he moved this guy up, so he has 11. That was... now he has 10 left. I think 10 is where he wanted to stop. Yeah, he went into his supply subphase. We kind of blow through his supply subphase here, because the only thing he's doing is these convoys down here supply the Italians and this one German. He's got 4 units that he wants to supply, so it's up 2, down 2 every turn. So we tend to forget to do that for the Germans. And then with the West, I just couldn't see anything to do. I mean, I could try to do an invasion here. I only have 1 surprise attack marker, but he still had... he didn't have the German tanks marker. But I really don't have the assets to do it. I need an ultra and free forces. So, I mean, I could attack it +5 to +2 here. But if I fail to get through, he's... Right? Oh, not turn. Weather. What's weather? Oh, no, it's poor weather. I need to have fair weather to try and attack Basra, and I just don't have it. Okay, so I just kind of pass through with the West. Spend my points on replenishing and building things. Soviets... Oh, we wanted to see what was in the Diplomacy Cup. It's like, what's in the Diplomacy Cup? I said, there's a political failure and a no event. Because I made a mistake and put the political failure in there with that no event near the end of the diplomacy phases in 41, and I really should have just put 2 no events. Because the failure will hurt me, too. Much more than it would hurt him. What did I do with the Soviets? I'm doing something. Oh, I have this guy try to suicide. This is a trick to avoid losing will points. You have somebody that's flipped over like this. He's -2. If he attacks here, he's -1 for the river, 1 for the city, and 1 for the weather. So he's -3 plus -2. He's -5. He's getting a 1. And then what you're hoping is that your opponent, with his +3 here, is going to roll at least a 5. Or, I think he has to get up to a 6. So, if he rolls a 3 or better, then you're eliminated and you don't lose a will point. So that's what this is all about. I'm not trying to win the battle. I'm trying to be eliminated so I don't lose a will point. Don't lose will points if you lose a unit in attack. So I'm -5. He's +3. I rolled a 3 -5, so I'm a 1. He rolled a 3. +3 is a 6. So he did me the favor and eliminated me so I don't lose the willpower. This guy says, get the hell out of Dodge. I can't afford to lose will points there. And then, did I move the shock army away? No. Not sure what else I do. Oh, I'm running a few guys off the board. Again, trying to save will points from... I just run a bunch of guys into the off-map box. And get the rest down here in semi-defensive positions. Like I said, once he gets fair weather, I don't think I can stop him. But if I get another poor weather turn here in June, you know, we should be able to hold on for one more turn. And so that was it. And I moved this guy up here and him out and around to get him out of the way. Okay. And that was supply. Everybody was supplied. Replacements for the Axis. He just takes down his all of his airplanes. The West kind of cleaned up their act here. Where was the American fleet? I guess is down here in the Med, or not the Med. Yeah, they're over here to try and help the Western Desert Force and company. Right now I don't have anything in Gibraltar, so I'm going to have to ship somebody in there real quick here. If Russia falls and he gets Spain, I'm in trouble. I need to at least put up a fight for Gibraltar. Okay. So I cleaned up trying to clean up my defense of Great Britain too, because that's where it's all going to fall here, from 42 to 43. And then we're into... I'm trying to figure out where we're at. I think we're in... Yeah. I went ahead and built Home Fleet and Bomber Command, because I could with the British. And now we're just doing end of turn phase, so we're getting all of our stuff back from the turn track. Very soon we're going to be doing weather. So bring up the weather table. So we were in May. Yeah, we were in May, so we're going to have to use the lines on the June die roll here. I got 3 tank armies I can mobilize now for the Russians. Then he rolls, in the cold zone, he rolled a 4. And since it was poor previously, you go down to the poor line, and a 4 is fair. So I didn't get my 1/3 chance of an extra turn. In the mild zone, he rolled a 2, which leaves it fair. And then in the warm zone, where I really wanted to see fair weather, he rolled a 6 and gave me poor. So pretty much a really good weather split for him. Fair in the cold and poor in the warm is good for him. Declaration of war, we're not bothering. And he started going right into move, and I went, will you stop? We have to do strategic warfare. Why didn't we do strategic warfare? It's like we hadn't done any production or anything, and he was off attacking. He was so thrilled to be in fair weather. I'm like, you gotta do it the right way. Okay. And I had thrown the Soviet partisans out to try and mess him up at +3 to +3. He rolled a 1 +3, he's half down to a 2. I rolled a 9. So he lost a factory there. And then we went into the west, +6 to +2, and I played my ultra. He played his subs to guarantee that he gets it back. He rolled a 2 +6 is an 8. Halved down to 4. And I rolled a 4 +2 is a 6, halved down to a 3. So I got a factory back for the British, but I didn't keep the Germans down. And then I get my ultra in 3, he gets his subs in 4. And now we go back to strategic moves. I don't know if I had one. The Soviets. Okay, so I'm -1 in Akastran, and see, this guy did the first attack at 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. And then he rolls a 2 +4 because he's throwing in an airplane, so he shouldn't be +4. He should only be +3. Oh, messed up there. Shouldn't be +4, he should be +3. He would have been a 5 to a 3, so he still would have taken the hex. Takes the hex, and everything will stop here. We're going to start doing the... he starts stacking up guys to do repatriation. I have to get rid of that. Fleet, my airplanes. Flip all my guys that are face up. Get all flipped. Took off the one guy that was flipped. I flipped the guys up in the north? No, I didn't. That was him taking off markers. That was me flipping all my guys. And he's just... these guys... We highlighted these guys because they can't activate, but they don't get to repatriate because they're already in occupied Russia. So we highlighted the things that were inside occupied Russia, and the rest of the things that he's putting in occupied Russia are stuff that he's going to repatriate. Okay, so I think he's got all his German... he basically has them all on nice stacks. I think he does his miners right away. Yeah, he has to take his Finns and puts them... in Finland. Now, the thing about the miners is they actually have to go back to their own controlled stuff. They don't get to go into occupied Russia, whereas the Germans almost go into occupied Russia.
just puts his Yugoslavs there. He's obviously going to march them back. Italians, he's like, I don't know what to do. I'll put one in Durazzo because I can trace through Greece. Put the airplane down there. Put something in Venice. Put something in Genoa. And now we're at the Germans. That's all he has left, I think. Yeah, he put down his Romanian. And I believe added a sortie to all his aircraft. And we were talking about some of the places that he wants to end up having guys. And I'm like, well, you know, you've got like 17 turns to get him in the right place. It's not like you don't have time. And then his thing of putting the pro access marker, his free one, he obviously throws it in Madrid, and we throw a pro access into the Diplomacy Cup. And we ended the log file here. I will pause the video. Then we will pick up with the rest of June, and I think we do the same thing for July. So be right back. You won't really notice in the video, but just to let you know how this is working out. Okay, so now we should be doing German repatriations. As you see him. And then he does some illegal things here, like he sets them up where he wants them to be on the defensive lines or whatever. And I'm like, you can't set up there. You gotta set up on the cities. Or next to the cities. So we start moving guys back to where they need to be. Tried to put one in Warsaw. I'm like, that's too far. And then I'm not sure. Oh yeah, he had 2 Turks. He had like 3 Turks that we forgot that he had to put back in Turkey. We found those there. Okay, and he is up to 78 will. I did 70. Yeah, because he was at the 69, 68, I don't remember. Oh, we found the Turkish will marker at 4. And we were like, why is this at 4? I think I moved it one time with the Axis one when I was doing some stuff, and it just didn't. I was like, I can't remember in this video of even knocking off one Turkish army. I said, maybe I got lucky and did that somewhere, but I don't remember doing it. So we put it back to 8 because we just couldn't figure out how it got there. And so they are up to oh, that's what it was. I moved the Turks with the Germans from 68. I moved their 8 up to 4 because they had 6. That would have been 74 and then 10. So he's at 84, I think. Yeah, he's at 84 willpower. And then I moved the Turk with me, and I shouldn't have. He should be up at 8. That's what it was. Okay, at least I found it. Later on, you'll see us move it back up to 8. The Turks. There. So, his name was unrestricted place of pro marker. So we were making sure that we had the cup right, and then he basically can't do anything with the Germans there or the Yugoslavs, and I'm not sure that he brings his convoy out here, and I went ahead and went after him. I ended up with a 5. He's at like -2, so he ends up with a 1. So I gave him 2 sorties to move to the west coast, and he ends up in Antwerp. Just trying to cut down his. And then he moves his low supply airplane to there, and then into Germany, so he's giving up one of his pluses. Since he doesn't need it against the Russians, he figures +5 against the West is good enough. He doesn't need +6. And it's got the convoys doing their thing. He moves the airplane. Oh, when he was placing his Italian airplane, he placed it down here in Cairo, that's illegal. So we moved it back to a legal space. That's what that was. So I went ahead and moved over there, took Force H out, and said, come play with me, German Air Force. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, I don't know. So what I did is I moved that convoy in with the airplane and put it back in the Western Indian Ocean. And then I had the American fleet take the Western Defense Force. Much as I'd like to keep a threat on Basra, he's threatening a combination of Sea Lion and taking Gibraltar with the Spanish and all sorts of things like that, and I think I need to defend the West first. I do have the 1st Canadian and the American Task Force coming in very shortly, so I can put the pressure back on in Basra, in the Basra Middle East area in a short order. So I put him in there, put him in the fort, and then I've got decent coverage and supply possibilities there. Now we're doing bomber. And I went ahead and put that convoy there so I could pick that guy up if I needed him. So, did I decide to bomb or not? I guess I decided not to bomb this turn. Seemed like a waste of production points. So he's doing his replacements, airplanes, convoys for the Italians, airplanes for the Germans. His convoy. Does his airplanes there. What else is there? So I do the replacements here. And I did a bunch of replacements on the Soviets. Trying to make sure I kept points back for them. I went ahead and built the armor. Oh yeah, this was a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have built the armor. I should have saved points to pull in the Diplomacy Cup. So I was not thinking at all. I think we blew by the diplomacy phase there. Then we go back. There we go. So the Axis gets to pull in the cup first. It was a big mistake. The Russians should have kept their 5 points to pull. And I didn't. It was just dumb. Just dumb, dumb, dumb. And the Axis spend their 5. And they pull the 1 pro-Axis marker they put in. So Spain immediately comes in. So I started off putting a real infantry in Tangier. I went, a real infantry in Tangier? Sure. And he thought about it. He said, I definitely have to go guard that port because that's an important port. And he decided to flip him around so that if he loses Tangier, he doesn't lose a will point for a unit too. He just loses the garrison unit. And And what did I do here? So, not realizing that the Russians didn't save 5 to do their diplomacy, I put a political success and an O of N in, thinking, well, I'll have the Russians pull, maybe they'll get the political success and get rid of Sweden, right? And then it's like, Soviets can't do anything. I didn't save any points because I wasn't paying attention. So, the one I get in July goes off into September, so the Russians are up to 7 Euros factories. 6, 7, 8, and 6. Something's not right. Why am I not moving forward? There we go. So I've got 9 and 6. I have 15 production points. Next turn. This is just us putting our stuff back on the card. And then the British get the 1st Canadian, and I have the 5th Task Force coming, so I now have, extra ground units that I can try to use for things. And we ended the log file here. And I'm going to take a quick break here. And we're at like 40 minutes, so I'm going to stop here. The weather, because it's July, we know what the weather's going to be. It's going to be fair everywhere. And so he's going to have a, 2, 3, 4, -1, like a +3 to, what am I in there? Western Desert Force, so it'd be like a +3 to a +3, but he'll be halved. So, should be able to hold against the Spaniards. Once the Germans get down here, that's another question altogether because of the isolation bonus. Yeah. So, there you have it. Cuckoo Campaign, May-June of 1942. Russia falls in 1942. June of 1942. Once again, I'm Jun42. If you like my videos, hit that like button. If you really like my videos, subscribe and hit the notifications button. And until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.